beautiful Earth Angels, Soul Tribe Collective, welcome back to another reading. We're all joining together here today on my bed for this message. And the message from Spirit is that, there's a lot of gifts that you have developed because of your solitude, or the time that you've been able to connect deeper to the self, your inner realm. So today we're going to be finding out what that really is. There's a whole load of gifts that have come from that, but there's one that wants to be highlighted today. So we've got a tarot deck here, we've got some stickers here, and we've got my friendly foodies to help divinate for us and clarify prominently and prevalently what is that beautiful special gift of yours that wants to be brought to light, that you have developed purely through being able to have this solitude and time with yourself. So let's start off by pulling a friendly foodie, and then we'll gather all together the information. Okay, what is the gift that you have been able to develop because of your solitude? Ooh, this is all about communication. The communicator. Interesting. Let's get a sticker for you now. Oh, wow. Oh, this is really interesting. This is the reporter, which is like the communicator, the messenger. Wow, okay. Strong message coming through already. Okay. Now let's get some tarot cards to clarify. What gift have you been able to strongly develop because of this solitude, bringing this connection to your inner self? That was quite a lot that just fell out. I'm going to take one. Wow, 8 of Pentacles. 9 of Wands. And the 3 of Swords. Yeah. I think that your solitude has obviously developed so much beautiful traits and connection to your inner realm and yourself. 232, 234 I just saw. But overall there's a highlighted energy about communication. And also in the cards here, we'll get into these two in a minute. What's coming through in the tarot cards is that through your time in solitude, you've been able to process so much and alchemize so much, and really actually give yourself the space to sit with your thoughts, your emotions, your energy, and really sit in those energies. And they've really taught you a lot, because that can be uncomfortable, especially when it's to do with pains, anxieties, or worries. You have had the time to simmer in that space and sit in uncomfortable emotions. And I think that's deepened the connection toward yourself, because now you've met yourself at such a deep level. 323 I just saw, that you can meet others at a deeper level as well, especially when it comes to communication. You can have deeper conversations with people because you've had deeper conversations with yourself. You can understand people and empathize and lay out the workings of their mind because of what you've also had to lay out the workings of your mind. So these uncomfortable emotions that you've had to sit with, maybe these are times after certain situations have happened that have caused some disruptions or pain or hurt. But the thing is that you took the time to sit with yourself after these experiences, and you really didn't run away, because it's kind of like you've met your wounding, you've met your shadows, and you have alchemized and befriended them and accepted them and used them to understand you, your mind better. You are a really beautiful communicator, and also it's kind of like you can see deeper into situations than most, or into situations that people tell you about. And sometimes this is like, interesting energy. Made me scratch my throat chakra, because you see how this guy's a bit nervous. It's like, I feel like you can see situations really quite clearly for what they are, and sometimes you get, epiphanies or revelations or advice or guidance for other people, or you know, these deeper levels of truth for other people in their situations, because you're able to face this within yourself. So you very much in situations are able to review it from all sides, and you really have this honest communication between you and yourself that is not pandering to the ego, that is not enabling the ego. You're very honest with yourself, even if that means asking ourselves the harder questions or self-analyzing, taking accountability for our own actions. All of these things you can do, but maybe this is like this is how you've learned to actually become so wise and knowledgeable, is because you have that trait of yours that when you've been in these solitude and reflections after situations and times, it's like you can be so honest in communication, and that takes a bit of dissolving of the ego, because maybe when there's other situations going on with other people and they tell you about it, it's like you can also see, I don't want to be nasty, but the faults to where they might be hindering themselves, sabotaging themselves, especially from their own healing or growth or moving forward. And I feel like sometimes it's a bit awkward because you get this deeper level of information at your fingertips, but maybe sometimes it's like you just leave people to their own journeys, because you also understand it's not your place to do people's work for them. But it's hard because you just get these kind of informations, or you can just see it so clearly straight away, that sometimes, you know, we want to share that to help people, but also sometimes it's hard because of how people can operate with their ego in situations. It's almost a bit tetchy, like, do we really want to say this? Because it's like those blind shadows of people. You can see the blind shadows of people, and those who don't have this self-honesty with themselves, regardless of their ego, you know, separate to their ego, that is they're going to be harder to receive that advice. So I feel like you have amazing insights and advice because of the work you've done in solitude, getting to know yourself deeper. And I feel like that you share that advice and wisdom with those who are on a similar wavelength to you, that you know will understand you and not take things the wrong way. I think maybe you in the past, you know, could have also told people it regardless, but maybe it wasn't always received the best, because there's also some triggering from people that comes up sometimes that's like it's like, oh, you know better than me, or oh, you're like picking faults, or oh, you're doing this. But really what people don't understand is you do this to yourself as well, and it's their own projections that can sometimes be a bit like through your communication, the emotional intelligence you hold, the insights you hold, this can trigger people's egos sometimes to thinking that they think you're better than them, but really that's all an illusion coming from their own shadows, because you're telling them insights that they didn't see, and that can be quite threatening sometimes, 818, to people when they're like, well, this is myself, my situation, my journey, my feelings. How can you tell me about that? Because I know myself, you don't know me. It's that type of energy. So I feel like this is like one specific person in particular, maybe that this whole energy you could relate to, but maybe it's multiple people or a few people, but it's not everyone. These are the people that actually are, no one's spiritually ahead or behind, but these are the people who have still yet to really work through being honest with themselves and in co-collaboration with their ego to help them in their growth. And yeah, I think these people just didn't realize, like, this is what you're like to yourself as well. You know, we're really not here to pander to the ego or pander to, you know, those things. You can be very honest with yourself. So I feel like that's how you are with others, because that's how we grow. That's where we find our deepest wisdom, is in the places where it's most uncomfortable. So I feel like you have been able to alchemize so much and navigate through. I also feel like communication is something you're really gifted in, and this could also extend to writing, journaling, creating content, speaking, being a motivational speaker, kind of like therapy type of things. Like, communication is a real strong point of yours. And even if you don't feel that way, and I feel like this is because of the journeys you've been through with yourself in solitude, you know, with between you and yourself and spirit and the angels and source, So yeah, kind of interesting. This with the Eight of Pentacles, like I say, could be something that you love to do, that one day you'll start building a kingdom or a foundation or a platform for that. But in general, like, I hope this reading's come across in the right way, that it's just kind of like some people can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth, but you can handle the truth. And you've had to be truthful with yourself, and that is just how you've made so much growth and why you're such a wise person now. King of Swords, bottom deck energy. That's why you're a master of the inner realms of the mind, because it's not mastery as in like we're always doing the highest level of the best. It's mastery in a way that you can be truthful with yourself, you can be the analogizer, you can be the onlooker, the higher perspective awareness. You have a higher awareness, and so this is what you're doing. You're always constantly acknowledging, even if it's not to ever change. This is the thing, power's not in changing, it's in acknowledging. And you're able to acknowledge certain things inside of yourself which help you develop this self-growth type of energy. King of Swords and also Page of Wands. This is also regarding the energy of the people who couldn't really take your advice or didn't want to listen, or triggered their ego to maybe just thinking that you think you're better than them or something. But obviously we know this isn't the case. This is all from own insecurities and you know, projections from themselves, because King of Swords and Page of Wands is quite a similar energy in this deck. It's someone who's quite cold, maybe I'm hearing aloof, or a bit closed off to the outside realm when it comes to connecting on an emotional level. They're a bit more isolated. Air sign energy, fire sign energy, they can be a bit more cold and detached. And I feel like actually you are a speaker of truth with the Queen of Swords here, and you hold that truth very strongly. Like, the truths that you hold, they hit home, they hit deep with people. And I think maybe that's why as well people kind of get in this energy sometimes, or this particular person, or this unconscious energy. Yeah, 1221. When it's unconscious beings, that can really get them in this wounded ego type of energy, and you're just not here for it. You're like, I'm the Queen of Swords, I'm speaking truth, that's what I do with myself, that's why I'm the magician, that is why I've been able to follow my destiny, my intuition, my feelings, and flow and break cycles and create new beginnings, is all because you've been able to embody these traits with yourself to help yourself grow. So it's like if you just see that and it naturally bubbles up inside of you, you get a bubble up of clarity or advice, and you're speaking to someone, you want to share that and help them. And I feel like you have a beautiful discernment with who to share that wisdom with, who to share that inner insights with, and who will be reciprocative of that in communication, because not everyone can communicate in this conscious manner. I feel like you have a lot of soul tribal people that you've helped a lot along the way because of this, because you're both in the same mentality. But this is honestly like some unconscious wounded behavior, toxic masculinity in females or males, and those are the types of people you've really learned from to keep moving forward, keep being the flower that grows through the concrete, showing you what to kind of grow towards and what to grow away from. And you've grown away from a lot of situations that have taught you lessons through the energy of heartache or pain, and that is why it's priceless, the energy you hold, because you've had to walk through the fire to get those wisdom and those lessons. And that's also why those lessons, and that's also why not everyone's able to receive this, because sometimes we have to understand that, you know, the type of knowledge and insights that you've got about your mind is through your journeys, and you've had to go to some deep dark depths to come out the other side with these deep yin experiences of wisdom, clarity, epiphany, and really feel those. So sometimes when you go to share these with people and they haven't gone through that journey, sometimes they won't understand or they won't receive it. And that's because they need, like, you earned that wisdom, you earned that knowledge and understanding, you know, because it's hard to attain. So sometimes we can't gift this to people so freely because they have to go through their own journey to get that. But it's no doubt about it, that you plant seeds that people, when they do learn, flash back to that. Okay, they flash back to conversations where you've been the messenger of certain intuitive messages or insights that maybe they didn't want to receive, and now they're being okay. So karmic journeys are not bad things happening to people. Sometimes they can be uncomfortable and look on the outside as quote unquote bad, but karmic journeys are journeys of understanding. So there could be someone who really didn't want to take your advice or didn't listen or didn't get it. And they've been through their own karmic journeys and they're actually seeing things. Things are making sense through what you were talking about. So it's kind of interesting because, yeah, people have to go through their own journeys to get that wisdom. But even though you give it to them, it's their choice whether they take it or not, and keep an open mind to that. But if they don't, eventually they learn the same lessons anyway, because we're all here learning the same lessons, you know, learning how to choose self. And these are the things you help inspire people to do, is choose the self, connect to their inner self and inner realms, spend that time with themselves, finding their passion, finding what is lighting them up, moving away from things that are draining them or causing heartache, and really healing from the past, because you've healed a lot from the past. So that's actually a real strong trait of yours that you benefit others with. But yeah, like I say, it's like they go through their own journey and see it for themselves. But you can communicate and connect with people at a deep level because of all of this inner self-connection that you've made, inner nurturing to yourself and understanding that you've gained through your journey. So you could be receiving some news of some communication of somebody or some news. And that's just a separate message. There also could be, this could be work related or like a detour type of vibe, or like a grown path from something that is already there. It was like out of two paths become three. With the Hermit here, which is all about solitude, all about looking inward, and it's coming over right with that Three of Swords, which again is all about that struggle times, that heartache, that painful experiences. Those really turned you inwardly. Those really pushed you to be in yourself and in your inner realm and take deep stock and reflection on that. And that it creates some priceless lessons and some priceless knowledge that you hold. We have the Moon here as well, which can be about illusion. You see through illusion, and from the outside looking in, it's a lot easier to see which parts of situations are illusion and what's intuition and truth, especially when we're looking from the outside into other people's situation. That's what you get gifted with so easily, is seeing the illusion in situations, or the illusion of certain beliefs or thoughts that we are holding towards ourselves. I feel like that's also something that you can quite easily pick out or tell people in themselves, is the illusion belief patterns or thought patterns, or patterns that are non-self-serving, self-sabotaging, from that Moon energy of confusion. So you really do clear up a lot of confusion. You have the ability to do this inside yourself as well, from the traits and aspects that you hold now, because when you're in self-reflection and solitude, you're also able to pick apart, to see the illusion in situations for yourself too. You have a great discernment. Okay, last card, we have the Hanged Man. Yeah, so this is like that waiting, that change in perspective, those delays, those kind of things we see as setbacks. You have a beautiful mind at showing people the blessing that has been disguised for them, especially when it comes to painful situations. And maybe not everyone else has wanted to receive that always, but there's always people that have received that. But it's like you kind of teach people how to see situations that cause them pain or heartache, and see that what type of strengths can come out of that, what kind of mindset shifts can come out of that, what actual blessings for the self can come out of that, that maybe they're not open to receiving because they're just so intensely in that painful energy. You know, lost in the darkness, you have a way at guiding people, because you've been actually the light in your own darkness to guide you back home again inside of yourself. So I feel like you have this map of the astral realm, the inner mind, and you're like, hey, I've found home multiple times, and we always get lost again, right? But you found home multiple times, and I feel like it's just innately within you to want to help others find that home within themselves again, see that love and their self-value, and just really nurture them after they've been through pain. But you also have a great discernment at who is worthy to receive that energy from you, who's going to be receptive of that energy from you, and you don't waste your precious energy or time on people who are not willing or not at the stage quite yet to really take those life lessons from the harder situations. I feel like you are great at supporting and just being a shoulder to lean on for people who you know maybe are not in the right mind or position to receive such guidance. But I feel like you like to surround yourself with people and gravitate more to the people who you found that really bounce back and value your opinion, especially in times where they cannot connect fully to their intuition, because that happens to us all in highly emotional charged situations. The people who are in highly emotional charged situations, yet they still can connect with a higher aspect in themselves, a higher awareness in themselves, will be able to receive the true love and wisdom that you put out and that you are holding, because they can still separate from their emotional self to see the higher perspective. So they'll be happily and gladly taking your perspective in those times where they feel less connected to their intuition. But again, not wasting time on people who can't disconnect from their emotional self or their ego in times. And yeah, because it's like they just don't see it the same way you do, and that's completely fine. We're all on our own journeys, but they're a bit more lost in the darkness, and that's because we all have different paths, and maybe, you know, it's their time and season to be in darkness when we've just come out ours, or vice versa. So I feel like it's just really looking from afar and from a distance with love towards people who are in their own conscious energy that we have decided actually we can't help, because it's in you to want to help people, but there's been a journey throughout your life in yourself that's taught you a deeper aspect and the details of what that entails, you know, helping people. I feel like you've created a lot of discernment for not only things that you'll say, but reading people's energy of who will be receptive and who is really on their spiritual path of wanting to seek that higher guidance and that higher wisdom, and who is just kind of getting lost within the little things and the little situations that are hindering them from deepening the connection with themselves. So it's kind of like, if you see that, you just keep it to yourself, you look from afar, send love, and carry on focusing on your own journey, because it's lovely to help people, but not at the detriment of our own energy. And you've been through situations that have taught you when that can become a detriment, and you really put yourself first now. You still love to help people, but you're not at the cost of your own happiness, not at the cost of your own energy. So that is very special and powerful. And some of you, that's simply because you can't do that. You have your own passions, your own responsibilities. And so it's like you love to help those around you, friends, loved one, family. But again, not if that's going to impact energetically anything that you've been building up in your life, your mental security, your passions, your business, anything like that. It's that energy of discernment to be protective. And yeah, you just know who, you can read people very well, and yeah, you know who's going to be receptive. So definitely communication has been affected majorly by the aspects that you've developed within your own self-connection and self-solitude and reflection. That is where I'm going to leave this reading, you guys. I hope you enjoyed. I love you so much, and I'll speak to you all again in the next one. Mwah.